Happy X year. Happy X of July. Happy X Day to you. Why Christmas? Are they really trying to be that obvious? And who are they anyway? They tell me that I'm supposed to wish people happy holidays so that I don't offend anyone. But I can assure you, if someone wishes me a happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, or happy Boxing Day, I won't get offended. Honestly, I won't. Or maybe I should just wish everybody a Merry Xmas. I don't think that would offend anyone. Let's say X marks the spot. What spot? An embarrassing spot? Or maybe X marks the hidden treasure. I don't really care about being politically correct. I'm gonna X. I'm gonna Xmas. Yeah, it's just a word, but it's a principle too. Jesus is the reason for the season. Sorry for the cliche, but it's true. It's true. That's what Christ he deserves to be. Let's face it, this December holiday isn't about shopping or eggnog or a jovial overstuffed fun. It's about Jesus, the one, the only, the Messiah, the way, the truth, the life. So prepare yourself, strap your seatbelts on as I'm about to say. This isn't for the squeamish or the weak of heart. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Pray. Amen. Got your Bibles, turn with me to John chapter 1 this morning. John chapter 1, starting with verse 1. It says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light." Verse 9, "The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and through the world was made, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. Children born not of natural descent, nor of human decision or a husband's will, but born of God. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth." Lord, I pray now even, your Word is the living Word. It is alive and well, and I ask you right now that as we begin to digest it, to try to understand it, may you give us great revelation and great understanding, especially in this time of year that we are coming into. So I ask you to have your way as always and get the glory that you deserve. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So Thanksgiving has come and gone. How many of you do the traditional Thanksgiving meal? The turkey, the dressing, the mashed potatoes, the gravy. How many of you do that? How many of you do something different? Anybody? What do you guys do different? Pizza? Man, you invite me next year. Because I got to tell you, by the time you have a church Thanksgiving dinner, and then we have Thanksgiving dinner with Mary Ann's family, by the time we get to my mom's, I ain't liking turkey. Just to be quite honest with you, I'm not wanting any more turkey. I'm turkey enough. But you're shaking your head. How many of you had family over? How many of you went somewhere else to have dinner? Some of you? Okay. How many of you watch football? How many of you are Redskin fans? Only a few of you claim to be that now, right? I got you. And I'm not a Cowboy fan, so there you go. How many of you went Black Friday shopping. Anybody do that? Jimmy's good. Heavy. Yeah. So some of you did that. Was that fun? Did you enjoy that? Some people enjoy that. I don't know how, but some people do enjoy Black Friday shopping. So today it's time to get ready for Christmas. Thanksgiving's come. Thanksgiving's gone. It's that time. Look around you, man. Go in the stores. They all got their trees up. The decorations are in full attire. They're everywhere, are they not? Stores are running their big sales. They're trying to get us to do what? Spend, and spend some more. And all the guys are going, I hate Christmas time for that.
Christmas Eve coming.
Go into the elevators. What do you hear? Christmas music. Walking through the stores, you hear Christmas music. Riding in the car with Mary Ann, you hear Christmas music. Oh, wait a minute, I could have said that all back in October. Kind of seems when it starts nowadays. So today is the first Sunday of Advent. And so when we think about Advent, you know what that means? Anyone know what Advent means? Anybody want to give it a guess?
Prepare.
It comes from the Latin word, which means arrival or coming. And so today is our first Sunday of Advent, and basically Advent is the fourth Sunday before Christmas. And it works its way up to Christmas Day. And so when we think about Advent, we think about, as Christians, the opportunity to celebrate. The opportunity to focus on the arrival of the King. Now we know that He came 2,000 years ago, right? We believe that. That's why we're here. But He's coming again.
Amen.
And so Christmas time, the Advent season, reminds us to focus upon His arrival, His coming. And so today, this morning, is the official start of our preparations for Christmas. Now some of you put your trees up when? Some of you put them up some yesterday. Some put them up a couple of weeks ago. I saw a post on Facebook. I mean, some people, pretty soon it's going to be, they already have Christmas in July, and come early October, trees are going to go up. I just recognize that. It just seems to be where it's going to. But today is the official start of Advent, the time the church celebrates the birth of Christ. Now, with that being said, how are you? This is a personal question I think we have to ask ourselves on this first Sunday of Advent. How are you preparing for the next 4 weeks? How are you going to prepare for Christmas? What, over the next 4 weeks, will you be focusing on? I think that's a fair enough question. For instance, how many cookies do you need to bake? How many presents do you need to buy? Will it be sending Christmas cards? Will it be decorating the tree and the house? Will it be buying more presents? Will it be wrapping the presents that you bought and buying more presents? Will it be singing Christmas carols? Will it be planning Christmas dinner? Will it be buying more presents? Will it be cleaning the house? Will it be decorating the house? Will it be planning which parties you will go to? Will it be buying more presents? And let me switch gears just a minute. I had that picture of the traffic light. And the reason I had that, have you ever noticed when you drive through town, I don't know that any municipality in Roanoke has any traffic engineers. It seems like you hit a red light, a green light, the next light's red again. Can they not get it where they're all green at the same time and all red at the same time? Anybody here ever struggle with traffic? We lie. Come on now. We all do, right? And so we know what the lights mean. What does green light mean? Go. Go. What does red light mean?
Go.
Jim, you hearing all this?
Yellow means hurry up and go.
See, there we go. That's what I was getting to. What does the yellow light mean?
Go fast.
Caution.
No wonder we got a problem we got like we have in America.
Hammer
No
down.
one knows what to do with traffic lights. We're all confused with them, are we not? And then I got to tell you, I've been guilty of that. Even this morning, I said, there's not much traffic. When I come in here, I said, I'm going to just come up Williamson Road. There's nobody. Drive the next block. There's nobody. Next block. It's like 27 blocks. And there's a traffic light on like every block. And there was a couple times that it turned yellow and I sped up. I will admit to that. But that's not what the yellow light's supposed to do, is it? It's supposed to remind us to what? Slow down. Use caution, exactly. Yet I recognize so many people think that means speed up or block an intersection. That seems to be true in our area here. I read about a young boy, and he was having some trouble in school, and he was just struggling keeping up with the other kids academically, and he just kept falling behind. He tried as hard as he could, and the result was every day he would come home, and his backpack would be full of school books and homework assignments. And he would have to work on his homework until it would be bedtime. He never got a chance to go out and be a little boy. He never got a chance to go and play. And so finally his parents went to the school, they consulted with the guidance counselor, and they decided that their son should be placed in a slower learning class. And so they did that, and it ended up being the right decision. As a third grader, he found more time to be a kid. He found more time to be able to go outside and play as well as learn. And so his attitude became more positive. That might give you guys a little hint. If your kids are struggling with attitude, you might want them to have more time to get some energy out. My mama did it. She locked the door. You don't come back in till the door's unlocked. We said, I sound like little puppies. Come on, have a seat, please. It's getting cold out here. But anyway, this kid began to do very well, and so he began to have some extra time, and as most little boys are, he thought, I want to just, maybe Dad would spend some time with me. Let's go outside and play ball, or throw and play catch, whatever it might be. And his dad always had the same response. Son, my briefcase is just full of work I've got to do tonight. That went over and over and over. Finally, the little boy looked at his dad and said, Dad, can't they put you in a slower class? And I say that because maybe we all need to be put in a little slower class during the Advent season. To slow down. To recognize what this season is really about. I don't want us as a church to miss Christmas. The real reason for Christmas. Do you get what I'm saying? My whole focus today is going to be twofold. I don't have any outline in your bulletin, but it's twofold. One is this: we get so busy with all the things I just alluded to that we forget about Jesus. And then we have a world, a culture that does everything it can to take Jesus out of Christmas. Hence the video, Merry Xmas. Maybe we need to heed the yellow light. Maybe we need to write down this first Sunday of Advent and say, take a deep breath and slow down. You see, if you don't, you keep going full steam, you're going to find yourself going through a busy intersection and somebody else just like you in a hurry is going to bam. Slow down. We need to heed the yellow light. We got a lot of commitments coming up. I recognize that no one in this room is exempt of that with the busyness of this season. And our commitments are important. But I think it's equally important to look at all the commitments that are out there, all the potential commitments, and prioritize. Begin to look at those and say, what is really important to me this Advent season, this Christmas season? What am I really going to focus on over these next 4 weeks? Let me also say this. You guys tell me, do you agree or disagree? we find time for what we want to do. Agree or disagree?
Yep.
We find time for what we want to do. We find time for recreation. We find time for shopping. We find time to watch TV. We find time to go out to dinner. We find time to go to this party or that party. We find time to do all these things that we really desire to do. Could we take some time to get with God? It really is about Him. It's not about Target and Walmart and Sears and Kmart and Macy's. It's not about that. I'm not saying that stuff's bad. Don't even read me wrong. I'm saying we have put that above the real reason. That it's become so commercialized. We think about Jesus, but He's not high on our priority list. I recognize that the world does that, but the church, that shouldn't happen to us. We shouldn't get caught up in that trap, is all I'm trying to say. We need to take some time to spend with the Lord. Some time to listen to what He's got to say. Have conversation with Him. We need to heed the yellow light. My prayer is that by the time I finish this sermon, every time you see a yellow light, you go think, I need to spend time with Jesus. For most people, Advent is a time when you put up the nativity scene. So Mary Ann put up some of the wise men last night. These three are on their way. They haven't quite gotten to the nativity scene yet. But they're working their way there. And I read about two brothers, Billy and Bobby, and they were having this argument about how to arrange the figures at the nativity scene. And Billy, who was the older of the two, was trying to impress upon Bobby that everyone ought to be in a straight line in the nativity scene. And Bobby said, no, they should be in a circle around. And each boy took time to explain and why it should be the way I'm saying. Finally, after going back and forth, Bobby had enough, and he said, Billy, everyone needs to be in a circle around Jesus. That way they can all see the Lord. And I thought, that's an appropriate thing right there. We should all get, during the Advent season, where we can see the Lord. We should get in a circle rather than standing in a line to buy more presents. Ask yourself, what's going to be my focus? Where am I going to focus? In a circle or in a line? Does this make any sense? Mm-hmm. Or are we focusing on Jesus, or are we going to focus on the cookies and the carols and the presents from Santa? What are we going to do, church? I saw in a BC comic strip some time back, there's an ant, two ants, and one ant said to the other one, who was his dad? Dad, who is Jesus? And the father ant replied, He's the reason for the season. The next panel shows the boy ant saying to his dad, I thought Santa Claus was the reason. And the father ant replied, He is if you prefer Xbox instead of everlasting life. And I thought there's some truth to that. There's some truth. In one Christmas display window in one of the largest department stores in San Francisco, with the following words. Started with a question, what is Christmas? Christmas is wide-eyed children, fairyland magic, age-old music, and goodwill in the hearts of men. That was the end. And I thought, is that all there is to Christmas? Two women stopped in front of another store window, and during the Christmas season, and in the middle of all the merchandise, there was a small nativity scene there in the window. And one of the women looked to her friend and said, would you just look at that? Even the church is trying to horn in at Christmas time. That's kind of how the world thinks. I don't know about you guys, but I believe Jesus is the reason.
Amen.
Yeah.
I believe He has to be the priority for the Advent season.
That's what you celebrate.
That's right. It is what we're celebrating. That He's already come one time. And because of that, we have hope. Because of that, we have the hope of eternal life. We have the hope of heaven. We have that because He came the first time. He's coming back.
Amen.
He's coming back. But before He comes back, and I got to tell you, I get so upset when Christians say, I just wish Jesus would come back. It bothers me because I know people who don't know Jesus.
Yeah.
And I want Him to continue. To me, grace is that He hasn't come back. But I want to celebrate knowing that one day He will return. And I have that hope. How many of you, if you were honest, would say, I really do get too busy during the Christmas season? I remember when our kids were small, you know, we got so busy during the Christmas season that we would take a vacation in January. We would get away because I felt like I didn't even see my family during that time. And I remember many times thinking, here I am in the ministry, and it's the way it gets. Something's wrong with this picture. Well, we're missing something. But so many people get busy and do all the shopping, all the cooking, all the decorating, the parties, the dinners, the Christmas cards, the wrapping of presents. That all takes so much time. I can just go on and on with this list. But if we're honest, all these things add a little extra burden on us, don't they? Can I just say this to you? Your neighbors don't need 15 extra dozen of cookies this year. They don't need the extra calories. Your Christmas decorations don't have to match Clark Griswold on Christmas Vacation. You don't have to attend all 26 Christmas parties that you've been invited to. You don't have to do all that. What you do need to do is heed the yellow light. What you do need to do is say, look, I need to slow down and refocus. Someone said, if our greatest need were money, God would have sent us a banker. If our greatest need were knowledge, He would have sent us a teacher. If our greatest need were wisdom, He would have sent us a philosopher. If our greatest need had been pleasure, God would have sent us an entertainer. But our greatest need is forgiveness, and God sent us a Redeemer.
Yeah.
John tells us in verse 4 of that first chapter, in Jesus was life, and that life was the light of all people. What a wonderful promise in the Gospel of John. And I love the Gospel of John because John walked with Him. John spent that time with Him. John was the only one brave enough to be there at the crucifixion. He didn't hear about it from someone else. He witnessed it. And he faced great persecution in that, was isolated and put off to an island all alone for years. Yet he says in Jesus was life. And that life was the light of all people. So that's the real reason. That's the real reason. It's not that we can just cram as much into it as we possibly can. It's not just about the shepherds and the angels and the mangers and the stables. It's not just about the presents and the cards or the decorations. It's about slowing down. The last few days, it's interesting, I'm preaching this message, I feel like we've gone full steam ahead. Decorations, writing sermons, funeral messages, decorating the house, decorating the church, going here and going there. We need to slow down. We need to heed the yellow light. Focus on the real reason for the season. Look, Christianity is not a philosophy. You guys understand that? It's not a philosophy. It's about a person who is fundamental to our faith. Islam is more about a philosophy. You're born into it, and you better stick with it. With us, it's about what Christ has done for us. That He came and prepared the way for us. That He doesn't push us or make us follow Him. That He loves us so much that He has given us the ability to accept or refuse. And so when I think about this time of year to remove Jesus from Christmas and make it about Xmas, it's like taking numbers out of math. Think about that. It's like taking the sun out of daylight to take Jesus out of Christmas. It's the most essential element of who we are, is the name of Jesus. So to take Him out of Christmas doesn't make any sense. But boy, doesn't our culture try that very hard to do just that? If you would have told the average American 50 years ago that in the 21st century Americans would take Jesus out of Christmas, that Christmas in the 21st century would be more of a pagan holiday than a Christian holiday, they would have said, never would I believe that. That will never happen in this land. But it's happened. Let me give you some examples. In Ramsey County, Minnesota, a courthouse banned red poinsettias. They banned poinsettias. Why? Because someone deemed them as a Christian symbol. In Pittsburgh, the Christmas holidays are to be referred to as sparkle days. They said, we don't want to offend anyone. A VA hospital in Georgia has banned religious Christmas songs in public areas at the VA. At an Arkansas school, an anonymous parent tried to stop the production of a Charlie Brown Christmas. Her attorney explained, and I quote, "The problem is that it's got religious content and it's being performed in a religious venue, and that doesn't just blur the line between church and state, it oversteps it entirely." Unquote. Do you see the attack?
Say it.
In Hawaii, the Department of Education has canceled the annual Christmas concert over the threat of a lawsuit. A group called Hawaii Citizens for the Separation of State and Church objected to involvement of a church in organizing and publicizing the event, which has for years raised money for the poor of Africa. In the city of Santa Monica, California, they have banned nativity scenes where they've been there for decades after decade after decade. They're now banned. If you would go online and do a little research, this list will go on and on and on. I could just keep going, but you get my point, right? So our challenge is to not allow our culture to get us going down the wrong path. Our challenge is to make sure we're not so busy with doing Christmas things that we forget about Christmas and the reason. Our challenge is that during the next 4 weeks, you will have the most opportunities, if you look, in the entire calendar year, other than the week of Easter, to reach the world. So not only do we need to focus on making sure that we keep our priorities right, we as the church need to work hard and diligent and be intentional about being the hands and feet of the Lord. And I would challenge you today to think of someone you know who's unchurched, and begin to pray for that person. Begin to pray that the Holy Spirit would go to that person before you, and that He would begin to prepare their heart for you to go invite them to church. It's hitting my mind right now. Someone just recently said I came to church because I was invited. And yet Barna says less than 1% of the church people in America invite someone else to church. I got to tell you, I have a hard time grasping that if we have encountered this living and holy God, and we know what He has done for us, that He's washed me white as snow, that He's forgiven my sin as far as the east is from the west, then I would want to share that with as many people as possible. Someone said, I don't need to go to church to be a Christian. That statement's partially true. Church doesn't save you. But there's a twofold answer to that. First one is this. The Bible says go to church. It says do not cease meeting together. And I don't know anybody who's a Christian who doesn't want to go to church. Do you get my point? Because you want to be around like-minded people. And sometimes I have people come to me and say, Pastor, I've invited so-and-so, and so-and-so professes before they live like the devil. When Saul was on that road to Damascus, he thought he was doing everything just right until he encountered Jesus. It was after his encounter with Jesus that the scales fell off, that he could see. Could you see before you found Jesus? Could anyone have told you any different before you found Jesus? No. Man, I didn't like anything about the church, or at least how I perceived the church before I encountered Jesus. I thought the church wanted something from me, mostly my money. And that's how most of the world thinks too. Which is why we try to do servant evangelism. We go out there and try to give things away. Don't take a donation. Because the world's going, hey, but you don't want my $20 bill. You don't want my dollar. I thought that's what you were about. You wanted my dollar. In conversation with time, those exact words came out. These chairs would be filled with souls. And I wish every church in America would have that same mindset. Because there's a world out there. These scales fall off. And I don't understand it. I've said it over and over and over. I would never have chosen you guys, nor myself, to be the hands and feet of Christ. But He has, which means He must have great trust in us when we surrender to Him. Amen. Just if you would just bow your heads where you're sitting down. And I'd ask you to do two things in closing here this morning. First of all, I would ask you to think about what's going to happen over the next 4 weeks in your life. I would ask you to this morning ask the Lord to help you have your priorities right. To ask the Lord to help you be His hands and feet. To help you not miss Christmas and just have Xmas. To ask Him to help you heed the yellow light. Slow down. And then ask Him to lay someone on your heart to invite to church. Someone who is unchurched. Not someone who goes to another church. We're not trying to get someone to another church. But someone who is unchurched. And begin to pray for someone to invite. Begin to pray that God would prepare their hearts. Father, we come to you today acknowledging that you are an awesome God who is worthy of our praise. And we thank you for the Advent season, for this time of year where we can anticipate and celebrate your coming, your arrival. And I do pray that, Lord, over the next month, heading up to Christmas, that you would help us. Help us clear our minds, our hearts, to focus as we should. Not that the other things are bad, or we recognize that they're all good, but sometimes good things get in the place of you. We don't want that to happen. We don't want to miss you this year. So help us. Begin now, Lord, to go and prepare hearts for those who don't know you, for those who are unchurched, that are within our sphere of influence, people whom we could invite to come to church with us. Let's not just keep it all to ourselves. Pray that we will be intentional about sharing you to our world. In the name of Jesus we pray.